Good morning, everybody. We are on chapter 3 called The Robot. Where we left off yesterday, the otters were basically at like a robot grave site where they found all these torsos and limbs of these broken, dead robots from when their cargo ship crashed, and the cases that these robots in broke and all the pieces of the robots went everywhere, except for that one box. And when the otters found that box, they were messing around with the robot and somehow clicked the on button in the back of the robot's head. And now this robot, I think, is going to come to life. So chapter 3 is called The Robot. The robot's computer brain booted up. Her programs began coming online. And then, still packed in her crate, she automatically started to speak. "Hello. I am Rosum, Unit 7134, but you can call me Roz. While my robotic systems are activating, I will tell you about myself. Once fully activated, I will be able to move and communicate and learn. Simply give me a task and I will complete it. Over time, I will find better ways to completing my tasks. I will become a better robot. When I am not needed, I will stay out of the way and keep myself in good working order. Thank you for your time. I am now fully activated." Chapter 4, The Robot Hatches. As you might know, robots don't feel emotions, not the way animals do. And yet, she sat in her crumpled crate. Roz felt something like curiosity. She was curious about the warm ball of light shining down from above. So her computer brain went to work and she identified the light. It was the sun. The robot felt her body absorbing the sun's energy. With each passing minute, she felt more awake. When her battery was good and full, Roz looked around and realized that she was packed inside a crate. She tried to move her arms, but they were restrained by cords, so she applied more force. The motors in her arms hummed a little louder, and then the cords snapped. Then she lifted her hands and pulled apart the crate. Like a hatchling breaking from a shell, Roz climbed out into the world. Here's the photo of her coming out of the crate. Chapter 5. Those otters were now hiding behind a rock. Their round heads nervously poked up, and they watched as a sparkling monster emerged from the crate. The monster slowly turned her head as she scanned the coastline. So, is a robot a monster? To us, we know that robots aren't monsters, but to these otters who have never seen anything like this, they're pretty terrified. They're like, "What is this? This is a monster. Ah, we're so scared." The monster slowly turned her head as she scanned the coastline. Her head turned and turned all the way around, and it didn't stop turning until she was looking right at the otters. "Hello, otters. My name is Roz." The robot's voice was simply too much for the skittish creatures. The biggest otter squeaked and the whole gang suddenly took off. They galloped back across the robot gravesite, flopped into the ocean, and raced through the waves just as fast as they could. Roz watched the otters go, but her eyes lingered on the sparkling objects that littered the shore. The objects looked strangely familiar. The robot swung her left leg forward and then her right, and just like that, she was taking her very first steps. She stomped away from her crate, over the rocks, and through the gravesite until she was standing above a broken robot body. She leaned in and noticed the word Rosum, Rozzum, lightly etched into the torso. So etched is like written. If you etch something into something, you kind of like carved into it. She noticed the same word on all the torsos, including her own. Roz continued exploring the gravesite until a playful little ocean wave washed over the rocks. She automatically stepped away from it. Then a bigger wave sloshed towards her and she stepped away again. And then a gigantic wave crashed over the rocks and engulfed the entire gravesite. Heavy water pounded against her body and knocked her to the ground, and her damaged sensors flared for the first time. A moment later, the wave was gone and Roz lay there, dripping and dented and surrounded by dead robots. Roz could feel her survival instincts, the part of her computer brain that made her want to avoid danger and take care of herself so she could continue functioning properly. Her instincts were urging her to move away from the ocean. She carefully got to her feet and saw that high above the shore, the land was bursting with trees and grasses and flowers. It looked lush and safe up there. It looked like a much better place for a robot. She had just one problem. To get there, she would have to climb the sea cliffs. Okay, that's it for today. I want you to go to Google Classroom. We're going to answer lots of questions.